well, if I want to reach that revenue goal, I'm going to have to work a lot more, which means the lifestyle and like pace, that I have with my family and my kids is going to like take a hit. And so that's just kind of like, interesting observation. That's actually what came up instead of like, oh, I can never make that money or like scarcity around money. It was more about time.
Welcome back to another episode of the RV Queens podcast, where we delve into the lives of women making money and living life on the road. I'm your host, Kate White, and today's episode is going to challenge the way you think about money, especially when it comes to your business. We recently hosted a live workshop inside the RV Queens community with business coach and strategist Dora Rankin, who walked us through her powerful RAFT method for money mindset coaching. You guys, this conversation got real up in here. We dug deep into how our thoughts and beliefs around money impact the way we show up in our businesses, how we price our offers, and even how we view our worth. In this replay of the workshop, you'll hear the powerful exercise that Dora walked us through, and you'll even be able to hear how she called me out. That's right, in the best way possible, of course. So yeah, this one hit home big time. This episode and the exercise we walked through is for you if you're stressed about cash flow in your business, if you're second guessing your prices, or feeling like you have to trade more time for more money. Get ready to take notes because this workshop will shift how you think about money and your ability to create wealth. Real quick, before we jump in, I have a quick question for you. Are you already living the RV life, but craving deeper connections with women who get you? The RV Queen Circles is our private online community where we have weekly chats, share resources, and support each other in balancing travel, family, and entrepreneurship. It's the place to find your people on the road. And because you're a podcast listener, you can use code PODCAST for 20% off your membership for life. Just head to rvqueenspodcast.com/community to learn more and join us today. All right, friends, grab a notebook and your coffee and let's roll into this workshop replay with the incredible Dora Rankin.
Hello, friends. Welcome. Feel free to unmute yourself. If you want to, say hi. Tell us where you are. I'll start us off in the chat. Drop your Instagram handle too and where in the world you are. I know we're all travelers in here, so we're all over the place. Dora, are you coming to us from Ohio?
Yes, Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio.
Are you having typical Midwest spring where it's like one day is 70 degrees and the next day is like 20 degrees?
Yes, my husband's very excited. He's outside right now, like putting out things, thinking that it's already spring so we can sit outside, but then it's going to probably on Saturday. So,
oh my gosh. That's so funny. So my parents live in Northeast Missouri, and every other day, today, my mom sent me a Marco Polo and she said, oh, it's 70 degrees. I went on a long walk. Same thing. She's like, but tomorrow it's going to be freezing again. I'm like, down here in Florida, Mom, every day is beautiful.
Oh, someone's in Bonita Springs, Florida, but it's nice and warm there.
Oh, is that Maryland? I love that area. So nice.
We're going to go old school tonight and grab paper and pen. So paper and pen, if possible.
By the way, I am wearing green because it's St. Patrick's Day almost, pretty much. Let's just say it's the weekend. And I have a gold sequin jacket from New Year's that I have only worn once. And then I thought this would be the perfect time to talk about money and the pot of gold. We are going full nerd tonight. So thank you to anyone else who also wore green. Kendra's clapping. Yes. Kendra's literally parked right next to me. Kendra, you can borrow this jacket if you want. I know you want a date night out with your husband.
Oh, Kelly's here. Yes.
You can sport this. Cool. All right, you guys, we have a lot to cover tonight. I'm super excited. Again, if anyone just came in, please drop your Instagram handle and where you are in the world in the chat. You guys can feel free to be chatting with each other throughout the event. Dora may or may not be able to check it as she's presenting. If you are not familiar with Dora Rankin, please let me introduce you to a fabulous human. She is a business coach and strategist for women entrepreneurs. She has I think it's like a 20 plus year career in finance. And then she worked at like a tech startup and helped that like grow and expand across the country. Now she is coaching. I've had her on the podcast twice, I believe, at this point. And she also, one of those episodes was like another workshop with the RV Queens too. So she is not a full-time RVer, but she is an RVer and she loves camp. So she is a friend of the RV Queens, and also her book. It's called The Heart Cell. I have it. I have taken notes all over my copy. I recommend it to every female entrepreneur that I know. So highly recommend everything that Dora has written and produces. I'm just a huge fan. So tonight she's going to take us through a money mindset workshop. And one housekeeping note, I am recording this. So if that's a concern for anyone, turn your video off or whatever you need to do. And without further ado, Dora Rankin, I hand it over to you.
Hi, everyone. Hello. Well, good news is I don't have to do an introduction because Kate just did such a great off the cuff bio. So good. Kate and I met through a good friend that's from Nebraska. Where's she? Yeah. Omaha. Danielle.
Yep, right.
And over the last year or so, Kate's brought me in on a couple of different things. So I'm really glad to be here. Thanks for having me. I am not in my RV at the moment, but I saw this cute little tent background. So I was like all about having the tent background. I saw someone say that they're in Mission, Texas. I think it was Sue. And my grandparents, they're the ones who taught me how to camp. And they retired in Mission, Texas, and had a camper for like 20, 25 years in Mission, Texas. And real quick, this is your cute story. When my husband and I started camping, my grandfather was still alive. And he said, I wasn't allowed to get like a trailer or a pool until we had the pop-up. He said, you have to start with a pop-up. You can't have anything else. So we had a pop-up for one trip. We took it to Atlanta for one trip for 2 weeks. And then we came back and we're like, okay, we're professional now. We can go get our trailer. So, okay. So we're going to dig into money mindset, and we're going to talk. I want to share that typically I do a longer workshop, but because we have 20 minutes to do this workshop, the piece that I like, just to give you the whole thing, it's a 2-part workshop normally. So the second part of the workshop, which we aren't going to get to tonight, is the strategy of how to implement these beliefs into your everyday life. So that workshop looks like what does it cost to live your dream life monthly? Like, so what's that monthly cost of what your dream life would look like? And then what is your current cost of what your life looks like? And when I go through that, it's called like a money in review, dare to dream exercise, but not a pie in the sky dream. It's an actual real exercise. And what's interesting is that you're surprised when you go through it. What you think is like, oh my gosh, I could never afford to have this dream life. You're actually surprised that the cost is not as high as you thought it would be. So that's the second piece of the workshop, which I'm not getting into tonight. We're just going to do the belief, and why the belief is, all of you know why the belief is so important. But let me just, beat the horse for a second and tell you that strategy, the roadmap, the action, the life, it will lay flat. It will do nothing if we don't have belief behind it. So whenever I go in and build a roadmap with someone, like, here are all the steps to get to this goal, right? We can't get to that goal if we don't believe. It's just going to lay flat. So we've got to figure out how to believe in the thing. And a lot of times there's blocks and blind spots and all of those B words that your coach works on you with because you can't see them, right? Because you have all these old beliefs that are causing you to do the thing that you're doing. So this workshop, we're going to go through an actual thought model. It's one of my favorite things to do. And you can actually use it with everything and anything. But tonight we're going to go through a thought model that's specific to how you think about money. So we're going to do that. Everybody ready? Yay. Okay. And as we go along, I think we're gonna break out into a group after. So as we're going along, when things come up, like, oh, I have questions around this, then just write it down so it can be part of discussion later on. Okay, so I mentioned to have pen and paper, and what I'd like you to write on said pen and paper or Google Doc. Or if you're like me, you have a whiteboard everywhere. I love my whiteboard. You're going to write down these letters and you're going to write them down vertically. Okay. And then leave a little bit of room underneath. Okay. So we're going to write down the letter C vertically. And then the next letter is T, as in Tom. The next letter is F, as in Frank. The next letter is A, and then the last letter is R. So you should have something that looks a little bit like this. I keep going back because I don't know. I don't know what you can see and can't see because I've got, so C, T, F, as in Frank, A, R. Okay. So now I'm going to explain what to do next. I'd like you to write down what you want the balance in your checking account to be. What do you want the balance in your checking account to be? Just throw a number on the piece of paper. Do you want the balance in your checking account to be, this is your business checking account, by the way. I want $50,000 in my business checking account. I want $400,000 in my business checking account. It's not really about the number. I'm just having you put a number down. So that's your want. Doesn't have to be real at the moment, but that's your want. So under the C line, that first letter, the C, what I want you to write down is the current situation with money as it is right now. What's really important is that I don't want you to write down anything that isn't fact. So you can only write down, this is my current situation with money. So my current situation with money is, I'm going to give you some examples. My current situation with money is, I rely on someone else to pay the bills. I don't know how much is in my checking account. Just an example. I have $10,000 in my business checking account. I want there to be $30,000. I have always had enough money to take care of myself, but not enough to do the things I really want to do. Your current situation, the way it is right now, as it pertains to money. And this should be, again, just a fact. It doesn't have an opinion next to it. That's important. So it's just a fact. Anyone have any questions about that?
I have a question. Are you talking specifically about like on the business side of our life?
Yeah, we're doing money mindset around your business. So I'd like it to play into your business versus retirement. And yeah, let's just stick to business. We can do it around anything, but let's stick to business because the money mindset, this model, it'll play out. So keep it to business. So we have our circumstance written down. We have, this is what I want in my checking account. And then now we have, this is my current situation as it pertains to money inside my business. So when you look at that circumstance for what it is right now, what are the thoughts that come up? So that's your T line. So the T stands for thoughts. I want you to write down the thoughts that come up based off of your current circumstance, your current situation. When it comes to thoughts, we think all day. I think maybe, should I do this? I wonder, I think. But when we get to this question, we all of a sudden don't have any thoughts. And we go straight to feelings. Well, I feel anxious about writing down that circumstance. We don't want to feel yet. We want to think about what are the thoughts there. So the thoughts could be, well, I don't know how it got like this, or I'm not really sure what to do, or just the thought of knowing how to change it. It confuses me. There could be good thoughts. There could be a thought, I am really making good progress here. I'm never going to hit that goal. I don't even know. Like, it's for other people. It's not for me. And the thought line is one of the hardest lines. So be really honest with yourself, because this is current. This isn't what you want your thoughts to be. This is what your current thoughts are. Okay. Next line is feeling. Now you can write down all your feelings. We got to get the thoughts out first, because that's what immediately happens. And what happens when we start thinking, then we start feeling. So the feel doesn't come before the thought. The thought always comes before the feel, but it's the hardest thing for us to figure out. So based off your current situation that you wrote down and the thoughts that came up, how do you feel? I feel worried. I feel content. And if fear is one of them, what's under the fear? Why are you afraid? If a feeling of fear or worry, anxiety comes up, I want you to look at that feeling and name tangible evidence in your past of what's causing you to feel that way about money. So this is where we go back and say, when I was 10, my mom didn't let me get the lollipop because we didn't have any money. And now, 30 years later, when I think about my situation with money, I'm worried that maybe I'll spend too much and I'll run out of it. So that feeling is really important, because that's what money mindset is all about. Your belief systems stem from some type of feeling of tangible evidence that you've witnessed along the road that's coming up every time you look at this money situation.
So you're probably planning out your travels for the rest of the year, and if you're heading out west, I hope that Bryce Canyon is on your must-see list. It's one of our family's favorite national parks. I recommend staying at Bryce Canyon RV Resort, which is a short drive from the park entrance, has incredible views, full hookups, and all the family-friendly amenities you're looking for. Bryce Canyon RV Resort is an Our Journey campground, so you know it's going to be clean and safe. Click the link in the show notes to book now and start your journey with Our Journey.
When I was 10 years old, my mom was a single mom. She took care of me and my sister. She was a nurse. She lived paycheck to paycheck. That's what I saw every day. So when I grew up, I knew I needed to be self-sufficient, work really hard. But I was terrified that somehow I would be homeless if I didn't hold on to money. Those are my feelings. So based off of your feelings that that I'm making you bring up to surface right now, not what you want to do, but right now, based off of the thought that comes up and those feelings that are coming up, what action do you normally take based off of the situation that you're looking at? So I have this money. This is my current situation with money when it comes to my business. I think and feel this way. What is my typical action? Not what I want my action to be, my day-to-day action. Is your action I'm going to figure out a way to build my business, and I'm going to figure out what that strategy is? Or is your action, I don't want to see it, let's have somebody else do it? Is it avoidance? What is your action? What do you typically do? Look at your checking account 15,000 times a day to see if maybe it's going to change? They don't have to be negative. It could be really positive. You could be in a really good place, but be honest with yourself as to what your actions currently are. It could be overachieving, overproducing, overdoing. A lot of times it's either overdoing, overaction, or inaction. And if you don't know, I don't know is inaction. We now know our thoughts or feelings, and this is the action that we do. Finally, based off of all that, what result do you typically get? So now I want you to flip your page, and then and vertically the same way, I want you to write down these letters. The first letter is R. The second letter is A. The third letter is F. And the last letter is T. That spells raft. And spelling bee. Spell raft, Dora. Raft. RAFT. So we're going to raft it out. So raft it out means that we have benchmarked our old belief system. We have looked at what our current belief system is, our old belief system. We need a new belief system when it comes to money. Sometimes we need new belief systems when it comes to a lot of things. I mean, my first husband, my goodness, he was an old belief system. I got a good one now. I really worked this thought model over and over and over again. So this new belief system requires this raft that we have to build and start practicing. So the R stands for the result. So we're going to write down what's that dollar amount that you want in your checking account. You're putting that there. I want this result. And if you want to put another result there too, around your goals for 2025, I want to have my first $100,000 quarter in 2025. Whatever result you want. I want to put whatever in my savings account. Whatever you have on your projections for the year, you can put there. But I want it to be real. I don't want it to be pie in the sky. And then number 2, that's your action. So A, we have R, and now we have action. So we're reverse engineering this. So what I want you to do is be really honest with yourself about when you look at the actions on the other page and then the results on the other page, what are the actions that you really need to implement to get to this result? And if you don't know what the actions are, that's why you hire me. But I'm sure you know some of the actions, like consistent action, eating the frog, pitching my product, right? Finding my audience, doing the thing I don't want to do, like put your actions down, celebrating something every single week, looking at my milestones every week. So the last 2, I'm sure you have a feeling of what they are. So we have to create new feelings and we have to create new thoughts. And the only way to do that is understanding the possibility of new evidence. So what's so important about this is it's not just writing down, well, I have to feel confident and I have to feel, I have to, right? I have to feel this way and I have to think this way. That doesn't work. What we actually need to look at is evidence of possibility. So we have formal evidence of why we feel the way that we feel right now. We have that. So we need to create new evidence of possibility. So in order to create new evidence of possibility, we want to see in our action line how when we do those actions, it creates new thoughts and new feelings. So I want you to write down the feelings and the thoughts that you need. But if you don't have them yet, that makes sense because you haven't practiced it yet. So what you're doing with the raft is you're actively looking for new evidence that you can do this thing. I like to call it surprising myself. So I did this thing. And what I got out of it was a new thought and a new feeling, which then surprised me that I hit this dollar amount at the end of the month. Because if I stay in my old thoughts and feelings, I'm going to get my old results. But if I practice something and I start looking for new evidence, I'm going to get new thoughts and new feelings. That's the wonder and the mystery and the really cool thing about using this thought model in your daily practice. So you write down your feelings, you write down your thoughts, and now you have your RAFT that you're carrying with you so you can see, oh, this is actually happening.
Cool. So quick, let's just like have a quick circle back, maybe like 2 or 3 minutes about the activity. Did anyone notice like themes, what that came up for both you and the people in your group?
Yes, that we're all hardworking moms and we never take enough time for ourselves in our business.
Just saying, you have all these things in the back of your mind and stuff that you're like, I probably should promote myself more, I should do this or should that. But until you're forced to write it down in an activity and it's staring at you in black and white, then you're like, well, I guess this is pretty real now since it's not just tucked away in my mind anymore. So I think doing the activity was nice for that too.
Something that came up for me that I'm curious if this is similar to other people and others of you in our lifestyle is that I didn't feel like I had as many money, like negative feelings and thoughts about money come up as much as I did about time, because the thoughts that came up for me were, well, if I want to reach that revenue goal, I'm going to have to work a lot more, which means the lifestyle and like pace, that I have with my family and my kids is going to like take a hit. And so that's just kind of like, interesting observation. That's actually what came up instead of like, oh, I can never make that money or like scarcity around money. It was more about time.
Oh, my immediate response is, or Kate, you could believe in yourself more. Somewhere in there, you're trading that time for money. So what's your time actually worth? What's that dollar amount? What's the dollar worth an hour for you?
Yeah.
Is it $60 an hour or is it $600? And I really hope it's $600 for you. And that means you have to believe in yourself more.
Okay,
and everyone else
awesome.
take that too. Yeah, that's not just me. She's like talking collectively, ladies. Laura, go ahead. Were you going to expound?
Oh, I was just going to say like that, what you just said there with the belief system, what is the value of your time? The whole exercise reflecting on the belief systems, the cycles and things from childhood and everything that you just saying, like, hey, are you $600 an hour, girl? Hell yeah, you're $600 an hour. Like I love that. That hit really good, Dora. I love that.
Yeah, that hit me too, because I was in a group with Jess and I was like, yeah, I have like 10 to 12 hours a week to work right now. That's the reality of my life, and the rest of it is like domestic, mom, homeschool, travel, whatever. And so yeah, that stings, Dora. In a good way.
So your podcast sponsors are now paying you $5,000 instead of $1,000.
Yes. You sound like my husband. That's funny. Good stuff. Okay. Closing thoughts from anyone before we move on into the prize giveaway. Man, I feel like this night went fast.
It was so fun. Thank you all for having me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I loved it.
Thank
Man,
you.
I feel like
Great.
this was like a juicy, like, bam, wham, bam. We went right there. We got in there. We dealt with some money and time and value thoughts, and could have lasted a whole other hour. But
I will say, just in final thoughts, that any ladies here who are not queens, this is kind of the vibe that we have in Marco Polo, like sharing raw tears, come as you are. So if that's your jam about business or life or anything, just talk to Kate or I or someone else that you know about joining, because it's worth it. Raise your hand if it's worth it.
yes. Okay, before
raise your virtual hand.
Before we get into the prize giveaways, I do want to put out a couple things like offers that we have. So Dora has been super generous, and her course is discounted dramatically right now. Instead of, for us, $997, she has it $47.
$47, y'all.
Dropping the link in the chat. So please do yourself a favor and just get your business Amex out that you're going to make cash back on and just buy the course now.
Yeah. And you honestly cannot afford not to.
Well, I just want to say that what's in there is if you get the book, the course just breaks down the entire book in curriculum. So all the things that Jessica Walker was saying, it's on the paper, I got to do it now, that it's just going to guide you through how to do that stuff. That's what's in the book.
Also, of course, Dora is available as a coach. You can find her at dorarankin.com. She has, all kinds of coachy offerings where you can work with her for 6 months, for a year, for an hour, all these kind of things. So please get in her ecosystem, get on her mailing list. She's amazing. Buy her book, buy her course. And for those of you that are not yet RV Queens, I am dropping a discount code, 20% off your membership for life with code MONEY. Go to rvqueenspodcast.com/community. Also, quick side note, if you know any affiliates, their discount code is actually 25% off. So pretty much all the RV Queens on this call are affiliates. So you can DM them on Instagram and get even steeper savings if you want. Well, you guys, thank you so much for being here tonight. This was a lot of juicy reflection. So good for the soul. If this was your first time being introduced to Dora Rankin, please, like I said, go to her website, at the very least, get on her newsletter, buy her course, get her book. She's awesome. Thank you, Dora, for being here tonight. We really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much. It's good to see everyone.
Yep. All right, everybody. Happy St. Patrick's Day. We'll see you on the road.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode and for being part of the RV Queens community. Remember to hit subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. And guess what? You can have conversations like I had on this episode with your fellow RV women who are living intentionally and making money on the road. Head to rvqueenspodcast.com/community to join RV Queen Circles today. It's a totally unique online space with a shared prosperity model that's all about community over competition. I'd love to have you be a part. All right, guys, I'll see you next week, or hopefully I will see you on the road.
Raise your hand if it's worth it.